And let's take a look at these problems real quick. I am going to scan this document in after probably today, after period 8, because I know that some of you guys want these answers. So if you are struggling, you don't have, I mean, I'll get it into one thing. So let's take a look here. Check your answers for these. Determine the concentrations. Since this is 0, you know that it's going forward, and that's what determines what your X is, whether it's minus or plus. The problem number 1, you had to actually solve for Q, and then compare it to K. Q would equal 1. Since 1 is less than the K of 5.10, then what reaction is favored if Q is less than K? Forward reaction. And then actually, I think you could actually just do the square root of both sides of this. You would not need to use the solver for that. Let's take a look at question 1 and 5 and 6. I'll give you a couple seconds. What do you guys think about those?
They're so bad. They're not pleasant.
It's not recommended to put an entire thing forward. That's all you do.
Yeah, right?
Water doesn't help.
They're not very good.
Why did you tell us that before?
Well, that's why they're out there. Because
Oh,
I was hoping that maybe
I get
Someone would like them.
the smelly kid would like them. No, I mean, whatever. Yeah, somebody would like them, like a handful after handful. Oh my God, he's eating them, right? That. Mikey.
dude stuff.
There used to be this cereal, like, look, he's eating it. He likes it. Actually, period 3 already had their handfuls of it, and Seth and what's the kid with the mullet?
Oh, yeah.
Henry.
What did you do? 5.1 over 5?
Help me out. Which one? 6? 5. I could, if I was, I'm going to use a solver. But what I did is, since I have X, both of these are squared right here, what can I do? I can square root this whole thing. So that's what I did here, and I square rooted it. And then I I multiplied both sides by 1 minus X. And then I just solved the problem for X. You should have, yep. Then you would do the minus 5.1 if you're setting it equal to 0. I actually found out, you remember we were talking about my older calculator? My older calculator actually does that a lot cooler. Like, this is the old way. You set up the equation to actually just be equal to like what the equation looks like. Strangely enough. This is a TI-85.
Oh.
But it's older than the TI-84s. Right? So something happened, they quit making these.
I bet you could probably tell that for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe like this.
I do like the new ones that you guys have that well, I mean, the ones that like have 2 parts for the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for number 5, X would be, looks like 0.39.
I'm just confused. Like, if the moles are all the same, how do you know when to add and subtract X? Like, to which side you do it?
That's the thing I said at the beginning. So what we would do is we would set up CO2, H2 over CO, H2O. And we would set that equal to Q because it's not at equilibrium, right? This is at equilibrium. This is not at equilibrium. So what is 1 times 1 divided by 1 times 1?
It's just 1.
1. So Q would equal 1. Well, Q equaling 1 means that Q is less than K. If Q is less than K, then which reaction is favored?
The reverse.
No, forward.
Oh, forward.
Because Q has to get up to K. So the forward reaction will be favored until they reach equilibrium.
So when do you know?
You know when to do that whenever you don't know whether to subtract or add X. Sometimes you have 0, so you know that it's going to have to be forward. In this case, we did not have a 0. So we had to figure out which reaction was going to be favored. The only way to do that is to solve for Q.
I have a question. So, number 5, when you do square root of 5.10 equals,
Yeah,
should it be 1.0 plus x over 1.0 minus x?
yes. So
Okay.
what I did here is I multiplied both sides by 1 minus x, and that's how we get 2.26. That's the square root of 5.10. So we get 2.26 minus 2.26x. And then I just rearrange the formula to solve for x. This
Sorry, where'd you get that 2.26?
should be the square root of 5.10, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Don't worry. There we go.
I didn't mind the solve.
Boom, 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 boom. So what is 1.015 divided by 1.76? 0.0085. What did you get? All right, that's the solver. Yeah, I mean, 0.0085 versus 0.0086 probably isn't going to make a big difference here. And the last one. Yep. I can probably go through it. So let's take a look. So we have the reaction, the initial, the change, and equilibrium. When 4.259 times 10 to the negative first moles, and it's a 2.515 liter solution, 0.4259 divided by 2.515.
It's about 0.1693.
0.1693. That's the initial for NH3, and it would be the same for the initial of O2. Right, so the first thing is I need to find that molarity. And then the chemist finds that at equilibrium, we have this equaling this. 0.0, oh, that's actually the concentration. So we don't have to change that. And that's of nitrogen.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No.
Okay.
So there we go. So how much nitrogen do we have initially? I don't see any, right? How about H2O? None. So we don't have any products. So which way it's going to be favored for this? Forward. So we're going to subtract 4x. We're going to subtract 3x. That's going to give us 2x and 6x from the balanced equation. So then basically we know that this is 2x. So we can find what x is by dividing this by 2.
Well, why would you want?
Because this is the concentration of it. And this is plus 2x. So the concentration is equal to 2x. So x equals this divided by 2. 0.0452 divided by 2.
It's 0.0226.
So that is x. 6 times 0.0226.
It's 0.1356.
0.1693 minus 3 times 0.0226.
It's 0.1015.
0.1693 minus 4 times 0.0226.
The answer is 0.0789.
So there are concentrations, and they want to find the value of K.
Oh, oh, 6x minus 5, 5, 5.
Because X is the same for all of them. So once I found out what X is, I can plug in the X.
So it would be a different number.
It is a different number.
But if you did 4.520 times 10 divided by 6, you get the number.
But that's not X. This is the concentration of only the N2,
Oh.
right?
So what?
What's this? 6 divided by 2?
That would be 3.
0.1356 divided by 0.0452.
It's 3.
You get it? They're the ratio to each other.
So how did you get the number?
6 times the X. This is the formula for the concentration of H2O. It is 0 plus 6X. And the way I got these concentrations was I took 0.1693 minus 4X. All right. So we have the reactants and products. Are you already asleep?
No, I'm away.
So I'm going to plug these in. So the nitrogen goes first. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll just do scientific notation. Actually, 0.0452. We're going to square that. We're going to multiply that by 0.1356 to the 6th. Then we're going to divide that by 0.0789 to the 4th. Then we're going to divide it by 0.1015 to the 3rd. Oh, dang it. Look what I did. I don't know how to do these calculators. Try that again. 0.135, is there more? Times, and this is to the 6th. What do? I press over? There we go. Divided by 0.0789 to the 4th. Divided by 0.1015 to the 3rd. There we get it, 0.3134.
Why did you get,
Here, let's check. 3 times, maybe that's why my answer was a little bit off, 0.0266. I switched those, didn't I? That should be 3. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have to take 0.169 minus that. Did you subtract this?
Yeah.
Minus the 0.0798.
I did 0.0226 times 2. And then I got 0.067 and 1.695.
And what did you get?
0.1012.
So I don't think that you put 0.0266 times 3. Point 0.0266 times 3. I think that you didn't do that. It shouldn't be 0.0678, it should be 0.0798. Take 3 times 0.0266. No, 3 times 0.0266 is 0.0798. And then you subtract that from 0.1693.
It's 0.0226, not 0.0266.
Oh. 0.0226. 0.01. So I pressed the wrong button. 0.1693 minus 0.0226 times 3. How come I keep getting the same answer? 0.0226 times 3, right? And we're going to take 0.1693 minus that. 0.1015. Let me see. You're probably flipping it up like I did.
I got the same number. And then I did 0.169.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have to put the X's in, but I mean, we're not doing that here. We don't need the equation editor here. It wouldn't help us do anything.
Yeah, I know, I meant like. Line.
Yeah, you use this X. Use the X right here.
No, I meant like, 0.0266, 0.1356, so all of those. Or those are like, that's 6 X.
Yeah, so this is X, right? So I multiply it by 6 to get this.
So
And-
you use that in the-
You have to use the X that you found, yeah.
use the X icon for H2O.
For N, for the nitrogen.
I mean for H2O, you use 0.1356.
That's what goes in here.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, because this is the equilibrium equation, right? And this is these are these concentrations at equilibrium. All right. All right. Let's take a look at a few of these problems and I'll let you guys work on these on your own and I'll post the answers. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So tomorrow you should work through this test review. And then Friday, I'll take any answers on that test review. And then Monday will be the test. A lot of content here. The most difficult part, obviously, is, I think, this math. This math is used for the last unit. I think we're going to do acid base as well. So it's important that you get this math down because acids bases basically work in this way. They have this equilibrium of hydrogen and hydroxide. All right. So for the reaction 2NO2 to N2O4, it's 1.15. Write the equilibrium expression for the system. Calculate the concentration of this that will be present at equilibrium with 5.50 molar NO2 is present. So that's not really anything. That's just gonna be the old case of EQ equals the concentration of product into O4 over the concentration of reactant in O2, and that is squared. So they give us the K and they give us the NO2. We don't have to worry about it. Boom, we're done. We just plug in this here and we can solve for this. Let's try another one. Let's try. But you want to do one that has you use the solver. Looks like these are perfect squares. Two, that's a perfect square. Dun, 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 dun. Five.
What do you mean by?
You can just take the square root of both sides. You don't have to use the solver. You could, but you don't have to. There we go. Number 7 looks ugly. Oh, but number 8 looks real fun. I'll leave 8 for you. 8, you're gonna have to find Q. Notice that you have all the different amounts. So 8, you'll have to find Q. 7, we won't have one of them. So let's do the rice. 2 NOCl yields 2 NO plus Cl2. So the case of EQ equals this. 1 mole, oh, this is kind of cheap, right? 1 mole of NOCl and 1 mole of Cl2 are placed in here. So we have 1 molar and 1 molar. At the beginning, what don't we have? NO. So which way is the reaction going to go? Forward or reverse? We don't have NO, so we're going to go forward. So that means we're going to get plus 2x for that, plus 1x for this, and minus 2x for this. So this will be 1 minus 2x, this will be 2x, and this will be 1 plus x. Right? So that means that 1.6 times 10 to the negative 5th is equal to products 2x squared times 1 plus x over 1 minus 2x squared. We good there? A perfect square would be if this were squared 2. Then I could take the square root. If this one right here were squared 2, I could take the square root of this whole thing. You can set it equal to the square root of this whole thing. Not a perfect square. Period 9 had trouble with this. Am I writing too fast? Do you guys understand that products go on top, reactants on bottom? We square this one because there's 2 here, and we square this one because of the 2 here. What am I going to do to both sides? You got it. I'm going to subtract 1.6 times 10 to the negative 5th from both sides. You don't have to do that step if you have what? Fancy calculator, or if you've got the real old calculator, you don't either. I will do it with probably the most common one, and then if somebody has their fancy one and they want me to try it on there, I will do that as well. Huh?
Is that 1.6 that you wrote on the denominator right next to the?
It's not on the denominator, it's at the end.
Oh, afterwards? Okay. So like you moved it over so it equals 0 is what happened.
Got it. Yep, that's exactly right. So good.
Thank you.
So we go to math and then push up to the solver button. Clear this out. Come on now, let me clear it out. There we go. Make sure you press up and get that, so it's 0. 1 parenthesis, 2 parenthesis, 2x in parenthesis square times, add parenthesis, 1 plus x, close parenthesis. I do. I need to. I just realized. So there we go. So now we have open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. So I right now have 1 parenthesis open. So I'm going to now divide by parenthesis 1 minus 2x, close parenthesis square, close final parenthesis, and I'm going to minus 1.6 times 10 to the negative 6th. You really have it easier if you have the newer calculator, I'm sorry. But it basically becomes a game of parentheses management, right? So we hit enter there. These are some instructions I left from last year. It says solve for 0. Enter. Make sure you hit enter here. Set x equal to 0. Have to hit enter there. Then go back and hit alpha, enter, which is solve. And it will take a second or two to think about that. That's not what you got. That's not what I got last year either. Yours is right. What did I mess up on parentheses?
Oh, you probably didn't put a parenthesis around the square thing, because everything else is the way.
You did to the power of -6 when it's actually -5.
Oh. Just that one little mess up? 0, enter. At least that gets me a chance to show this again. Alpha, solve. Oh, come on, up. Alpha, solve. There we go. Thank you for that. Good call. Was that Raylan?
Yeah.
Nice. Way to look out. And we get x equals 0.01999. Oh, I'm sorry, just 199.
For some reason, my calculator said 0.015.
So, yeah. It's got to be something that you've got here. So go ahead and make sure. Do you have this kind of calculator?
Yeah, I have the CE one, the colored one.
Oh, somebody want
Um,
fingers up
but
there?
I double checked and it looks like I have everything right.
You got that one. I think good. Wait, is this the nice one? Yeah. Wow, you're not doing it? Well, I'm. Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Really be trying to practice these because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, this is not easy at all.
Yeah, right? So let's take a look. So we're gonna set this equal to 1. You didn't put negative up there at the top, did you?
I wrote 1.6
That,
1.6 times.
like that?
Yeah, except I just do times 10 to the -5th because I don't know where the E is.
Oh, you've got to use the E.
Oh, I do?
Yep. The E button
Where's the E?
is the second function above the 7 button. Yeah. So that,
Oh, the two little E things?
yeah.
Okay. Why does it make a difference?
Order of operations, because the other thing is the 10 to the X, if that's what you're using, that is the anti-log button. It does not mean the same thing. So sometimes it'll work, but there's like a 23% chance that the order of operations will screw it up.
Oh. Yeah, I still got the same answer.
Well, let's continue then. So we have here parentheses 2x squared. You have those parentheses closed?
Yes.
Yes, and then we have times
Yep.
1 plus x. We're going to put parentheses around that.
Wait, why is it 1 plus x and not just oh, I see what I did wrong. I'm sorry. I just did x instead of 1 plus x.
There we go, right? I'm going to go ahead and put more parentheses around this whole thing. And it's just one, it's not that cubed. We can get rid of that. And then I'm going to insert parentheses here. So that thing is all good. And then we have 1 minus 2x squared. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to set that as equal to 0. And I'm going to hit solve. And there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, it's correct now.
Yep. That's what I mean. Like, you really want to practice putting these in a few times. Yeah. I mean, you can see even one little tiny mess up there. And even like, I mean, in a testing situation, if you're trying to answer one of these and you don't hit like the 0 and then enter alpha solve, you know, you're going to freak out.
That's why it's so clear.
Yeah, right?
Really hard.
Yeah. That's what I got for today. You should finish page 17 and 18 for tomorrow. I will post the answers up for those and the rest of the packet. And then tomorrow, as I said, I'm not going to be here. So you should just work through 19 to 21. There will not be a Zoom meeting if I'm not here because the substitute does not have an account with us. Who do you hope the sub is? Is that a problem with the subs? Yeah, oh no. Anybody at home got any more questions? Hopefully you guys are doing okay at home. Have a great day.